All right, welcome to the Record Machine Hip Hop Hour. Our guest today with us is Ebony Tusks, and we are at the Lawrence Public Library. We're gonna have a little bit of fun. We only allow 2 people in this room at a time, so we're gonna get 1/3 of Ebony Tusks in with us. And to start us off right here, we have Daniel. Man, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So what's been going on lately?
For me personally, much stuff. For Ebony, we played the Public Enemy show, which was like a pretty high-profile, high-stress, ridiculous thing. It was very cool.
Was there something that happened in that show where your set got cut short?
Yeah, going into it, we had talked about it, that, it's such a high-profile act that there was a pretty high likelihood that if in any way Public Enemy's set was going to be compromised, that they would in turn compromise the opener sets to allow Public Enemy to, deliver what people wanted. So we knew that going in, and that is, in fact, what happened. There was some technical difficulty, and it took a long time. We didn't get the sound check, which we really like sound checking a lot.
Right.
But we ended up being able to eke out a little bit of extra time with some help from friends who were some of the other openers, and we didn't play for super long, but I think we did a good job. So
you guys had a great performance, I heard. Yeah,
and it was also just a crazy experience. One of those things, like, it doesn't really matter how it went at the end of the day. It was just the craziest. I mean, I'm probably never going to perform for more people ever again in my life.
You will.
Maybe. I mean, it was like 7,000 people or something. I don't know.
That's a good way to get warmed up, man.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. Maybe someday.
Yeah, so explain to listeners if they don't know what your role is in Ebony Tusks.
I'm the DJ. I'm not the original DJ. Phil Canty was the original DJ for maybe like the first year or so of the project. At the beginning, it was really more of a solo project, I'd say. It was really, Phil was the DJ, but I don't think he ever really had an intention of having that much creative control. It was really Marty's baby. To a certain extent, it still is. But after Phil sort of dropped out, Marty asked me if I would literally just fill in for him for like one evening. He was like, hey, can you DJ this show tonight that I've got? And I was like, sure. And then we just kept doing that until eventually now I just always am the DJ. So I've been DJing for a long time. And in addition to that, all 3 of us share production responsibilities. So we are like slowly but steadily working on an album, and all 3 of us. I personally assume that by the time it's done, I think you'll be able to take the whole album and cut it into 3 parts, and each of us will have produced about 1/3 of the tracks. So
what influences you as a beat maker, as a DJ?
I mean, a lot of stuff. I like a lot of different kinds of music. I like drums in general.
Sure.
So I
love big drums.
That. But I like to draw from disparate sources, I guess. I don't know. I feel like one week I'll hear something and it's like that, like, I want to go in that direction. The next week it'll change up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like to push the envelope as much as possible. I feel like every time I make something, I don't want it to be just as good as the last thing I made. Or I guess I don't really strive for quality. I strive for making things that are interesting. Or
sure.
I like to do something new every time.
Yeah. So. Do you ever work stuff in where you bring it to the guys and it's like a little too esoteric at the time and they try to rein you back in?
I've actually been really impressed. There's been a couple occasions where, because we get together for shows like this, and we also get together for recording sessions, and then we also do occasionally get together for like production sessions where we sit around and like listen to the stuff we've all been working on and like talk through stuff, in addition to constantly sharing stuff online with each other. And there have been times when I've brought something to Geese and Marty, and I thought for sure they were gonna say like, "That's cool," but like way too weird. And like I've been surprised because some of the weirder things are the things that they've latched onto the most. So like tonight we have a song. It's not done. It's not recorded, but it's in the works. And we'll be performing it tonight. We performed it a couple times. We just performed like the front like snippet of the song essentially, and then we cut it off and go into something else. But that's one where I thought for sure they were gonna think it was too much, because it's a little bit painful at times to listen to, like intentionally so. But we're both instantly on board with it, and yeah, we perform it live. And to a certain extent, we always like to try and get like a response from the people we're performing for. So I do think that it serves that function where we put it on and it's loud and it's kind of grating. And if there's anybody in the audience who's like sleeping or playing on their phone, it's supposed to like kind of like
wake them up. Yeah. So explain to me what you mean by weird, because we all have different definitions of weird.
I would say I like music that's challenging. I like to listen to music that's challenging.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of people, I feel like there's basically 2 camps. People listen to music for the enjoyment of it. Either it sounds beautiful or it's entertaining in some way. And there's people who listen to stuff because it's challenging, whether it's really complex, or there's like lots of different things going on, and you can sort of dissect it while you listen to it, or stuff that at first you might not love it, or you might even dislike it, and then over time as you listen to it, you realize that there's like some stuff going on that is actually beautiful, even though there's maybe a lot of elements that are sort of off-putting. So
that's the best kind of music. Those are always the songs that are like, at first I hear and I'm like, I don't know, and then I keep listening to it and it's like, man, I love this song. Yeah, there's just something about it.
It's often the really catchy songs that after like listening to them 10 times, like you get sick of it. And it's the ones that take a little bit of effort on your part. I feel like by investing your energy into enjoying something, you end up getting more out of it. Right. You know, so that's the sort of stuff I like. A lot of it's very electronic and very loud and sort of gross. Yeah.
You ever mess with like different kind of time signatures, different tempos in the same song?
To a certain extent. Although I feel like messing with time signatures can like really pull the rug out from under people. So people can stand there and tolerate a lot of like weird noises and like harsh noises, but once you put in weird time signatures, people like, I don't know, you lose people to a certain extent.
Or you can use it as a setup. So they're kind of like, what's going on? And then boom, you hit them with a 4/4, and it's like, oh, this is slamming.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We sort of throw them a curveball first. So yeah. I would say that in general, because especially working as part of a rap group, it's tricky to deviate from like 4/4 time signature. I don't personally rap, so I don't understand that aspect of it that well. But I know that rapping over like
6/8.
Yeah, exactly. It's supposedly very difficult. I mean, I can't even rap over 4/4. So I just trust that when people tell me that 6/8 is not doable, and I agree. I try not to impose too much.
Nice. So listen to a track, man.
Okay, cool.
What do you got for us? So
I think the first track that you should play is a Black Flannel track.
Okay.
Black Flannel being Kansas City producer D-Will and Kansas City rapper Barrel Maker. Barrel Maker is like a good friend of Ebony Tusks, all of us. We've known him for quite a while, originally as a photographer, because he shoots photos and videos. That's like how we first met him, or it's how I first met him. And then like very shortly after we met him, he just came out of nowhere and started putting out rap music, and it's all pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So the track I chose, a lot of D-Will's production is very rock solid, kind of amazingly so. He just produces a lot of really rock solid, very classic hip hop instrumentals. Some of it even sounds like kind of like early Kanye West, a little bit. And so like that's a great foundation for the group that Barrel Maker then works on top of. But the one track that I chose is one where I feel like the instrumental is actually a little bit unusual for D-Will, and I find it really interesting.
Nice.
I listen to a lot of rap music, but I really do often listen on the production side. So that's kind of why I chose this one.
Nice, dude. And so this is Guns Up. This is all Black Flannel 2, correct?
Yeah, their newest album. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let's go ahead and check that out.
Black Flannel. Drop a little knowledge on the system. It's that so true. I can see inside a prison by the time I kick the bucket. While my country wanna see me in them cuffs. Reason why I'm saying cops don't trust them. Coming with the pure, unadulterated real shit. Punks scared of throwing hands, so they leave a big split. Bullets can't see the target. Suddenly a kid hit. Cousin want retaliation, then you hear a tell them put them guns up, got a strap, so what? Anyone can pull a trigger, grab a 9 and load up. They shooting while intoxicated, sipping drink, puff, puff. Strays hitting bystanders, chalk it up, it's tough luck. Wrong place, wrong time. They don't see the mama crying, they don't see him asking why. They don't see the pain inside. True protecting me, tell my street homies put them guns up in honor of the fallen, may they rest in peace.
Kansas City, put them guns up. East side, put them guns up.
And west side, put them guns up. Nah, really put them guns up. Eyes open, mouth closed, anything can happen. Real life shit, tell them this is more than rapping. Fuck a dance, fuck a Twitter feed, fuck dabbing. People dying in the streets when them guns clapping. So soak it all in for a minute. Shed tears for the innocent. Hoping someone listen. Tension in the air is getting thicker. Make it hard to breathe. Tear gas everywhere you look and make it hard to see. Never with the looting, but the chokehold tight. Yelling out you can't breathe, but the grip don't loosen. Riot in response, protesters seem useless. Jim Crow still alive. You can see it in the news clip. Mass incarceration turns school into prison. In the hood is like a trap. They don't wanna see us fix it. Nope. Fuck it, I'ma speak the truth if it's cool or not. Shots fired, I ain't even have to use a clock.
Kansas City, put them guns up. East side, put them guns up. And west side, put them guns up. Nah, really put them guns up.
Okay, that was Black Flannel with Guns Up. And like we're talking about, I'm the exact same way. I listen for production over vocals any time of the day. So when people are like, oh, did you hear what he just said there? I feel kind of bad. I feel kind of guilty sometimes. I'm like, oh, I wasn't paying attention to that. I was paying attention to the production in the background, yeah.
Right, yeah. And yeah, as we were saying, like, it's just interesting. You can I feel like hip-hop is a genre that has this and not a lot of other genres do, where there's such a dichotomy between people who are maybe more focused on production, people who are focused on the lyrical content, and you can have people who really just care about lyrical content and people who really just care about production more than anything. And so you can have multiple people in the same room and they're hearing the same song, and either some of them will be appreciating it and some of them won't, or maybe they'll be appreciating it for different reasons. I mean, for me personally, I think sort of obviously the best case scenario is when you have a group or an artist where both the lyrical content and the backing track production are both equally interesting and like worthwhile, so that you can enjoy it on multiple levels. Right. I mean, that's great. There's quite a few artists who have that. I don't know. I mean, there is also a lot of personality and stuff that goes into hip hop, which people can sort of like be drawn to. So it's interesting. I would say that even though I'm not necessarily like lyrically all of that, I wouldn't consider myself an expert in rap by any means. I don't really know all that much about the technical stuff that goes into it, but I feel like I listen to a lot of hip hop music and I really enjoy the track first and foremost, and then after repeated listens, that's when over time I start to develop an appreciation for more of the lyrical content. And I mean, rapping itself is sort of a percussive instrument, and so I do really love when there's interplay between the percussive elements in the track and the percussive elements in the vocals. So that's cool, but there's definitely artists out there who have very, sort of underwhelming production, but both their personal, their personality, and then like their technical rapping ability and their lyrical content all weaves this perfect thing where people will listen to it even if the track is literally just like
kick snare.
Yeah, kick snare for 3 minutes, and people will still love it. And like I can appreciate that stuff too to a certain extent. It's kind of amazing. I mean, being able to make a song which is really just you and a very basic beat. So that's cool. But I really do seek out artists who have more interesting tracks. Although actually I would say my next choice isn't really that. So I kind of feel a little silly for saying that, because the next song that I chose is someone who is a Kansas City rapper who there's some good production throughout the stuff that he has. You can find his stuff on Bandcamp and wherever. There's good, solid production throughout, and I think the song I chose actually has some of the better production out of all this stuff. But I chose him because I actually do like A, his personality, B, the tone of his voice and his delivery. I feel like he's sort of underrated as far as Kansas City rappers are concerned. He has a very classic delivery, the way he raps. So
that was a good intro, man. So tell us what song we're about to check out.
Let's see. The song I chose is called Family First, and it's by a rapper from Kansas City named the Abnorm. And I think I know I've performed, Ebony Tusks has performed on the same stage as the Abnorm on at least a couple occasions. I know at Middle of the Map, I don't know how many years ago it was, but I think maybe 2 Middle of the Maps we've performed in the same venue, same night as Abnorm. And he's just wildly entertaining. I love watching him perform. And yeah, I think the tone of his voice is great. And also he just brings a lot of sincerity in everything he says. Marty and I were talking about that on the way over here. Just that.
He's got a lot of energy too.
When he raps, there's energy and personality, but then you feel like everything he's saying is really genuine and really true to his life. So that's pretty cool. This song also features 2 other rappers, which is kind of like, I mean, I do like features. I like hearing a song where there's like multiple people who are sort of going in, and the basic subject matter might be the same, but they each have their own different take. And I think there's something kind of magical that happens when you have features on a track, where you get this sort of like this different vibe where it's like they're all there recording the song together and just sort of like actively interacting with each other as artists. So I generally like songs with features. I'm not super familiar with either of the dudes who are on this, but I like their verses on this song. So yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, just hearing how they have a different perspective on the same topic, and like you're talking about the voice as a percussive instrument, so hearing how they use different cadences.
Oh yeah. This song has some good examples of that. And yeah, I do think that when you call in people to do features, they're aware of how their verses are gonna fit in the song as a whole, and so you might have somebody who changes up their vocal style a little bit to try and differentiate themselves from the other rappers on the song. And it's just interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of songs out there I love that just have really like interesting contrasts and juxtapositions between the different rappers that are featured, where it'll go from one person who has a really smooth style to one person who has a really harsh style, really fast, and it creates some interesting sort of like differences in the energy of the track for them.
Yeah. So. Very cool, man.
Anyways, yeah, this song's pretty great, and I like the Abnorm a lot. So
cool. Well, here we go. Yeah. This is Abnorm with Family First.
Hey, yo, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta get away. Fuck a E for effort. Niggas know I'm trying to get an A. I think of ways to seize the day. Carpe diem. You probably ain't know the Abnorm ain't crazy, but Cartier is. I ain't got no friends, cause most of my enemies used to be close friends. Close to kin, but now my soul is cleansed. This dirty laundry, so I had to wash it. Now my clothes is clean. What? Well, not all of it, but it's close to clean. You know what I mean. They want us in jail. I call that freestyling. What? They wanna put me in the pen and take the ink about it. Nigga, think about it. They buying prisons while we buying Jordans. Dying for them. I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. That's how we yarn it. There's no reasonable doubt that we ain't gon' get an even amount. And if there is, then I'ma leave without any nigga who ain't trying to feed my mouth. This ain't no buddy system, it's the money system. I'm on a money mission. If the money's missing, well, my coalition, I had to go and get you. Cause my sole intention is the pole position. That's why I keep my family first. Everybody else, they can die tonight. All of a sudden, niggas trying to fight. Cause a nigga blowing up like dynamite. I keep my family first. Everybody else, they can die tonight. Everybody doing dirt in the darkness, not knowing it's gon' find a light. I keep my family first. Everybody else, they can die tonight. I find they like pushing my buttons without trying to type. I keep my family first. Everybody else, they can die tonight. Die tonight, die tonight. Everybody else, they can die tonight. I keep my family first. Everybody else, they can die tonight. Die tonight, they can die tonight. Everybody else, they can die. 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 Everybody else, they can die.
Fam, OVER, everything. Take the rest and kill them all for all I care. I won't intervene. Responsibilities in order. Bad ties won't win a ring. Today I smoked about a quarter. Make paper rise by any means. Skeletons in your closet. Got you looking like a hoarder. Got a bad chick in my pocket. Like something west of the border. Not a one in my wallet. No, I really can't afford her. Still, I'm gonna explore her aura. Got the keys like Florida. Bend it out of proportion. OD of little importance. Son, I'm shoulda had abortions. I done just created more orphans. Dislocate the finger pointed at me. Give a damn about the reputation. Nigga, you would lose a digit more than happy to give anyone a demonstration. Armed to ignorance. Militant bombs are fixing the hits. Many to any who isn't with it. For the many who with me, we finishing shit. You witness in history. Hate to see me win and put them out of their misery. Got a plan to get to that cheddar. That'll be first victim of the killing spree. You know I keep my family first. Everybody else they can die tonight. All of a sudden niggas trying to fight. Cause the nigga blowing up like dynamite. I keep my family first. Everybody else they can die tonight. Everybody doing dirt in the darkness, not knowing it's gon' find the light. I keep my family first. Everybody else they can die tonight. I find they like pushing my buttons without trying to type. I keep my family first. Everybody else they can die tonight. Die tonight, die tonight. Everybody else they can die.
Mike, you don't come to Las Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that.
Fredo, you're my older brother, and I love you. But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
Hey, I keep my enemies close. family closer. For the bread to feed my family, I say hand me the toaster. But in the midst of trying to eat, I sit with Cain at the table. Then my vibe is here, but a lack of love, cause I ain't able. I remember the fable of Caesar and Brutus, Jesus and Judas, Puffy and Biggie, Suge and Tupac, homie. These are the truest templates of how friendship come to ruin with greed and envy. And when you add a little bit of steak fit them in a like a fake niggas, I would not advise swimming. Niggas be falling for hoes, doing they demonic concubines spitting. You got no balls of your own, when she got a hold of for that, I find pity. I don't run with a pack, call me a lone wolf when I do my boom by biddy with glove. Alone with a zone, I'm enemies on in the heart of this here city. No love. Just fountains and murders, serpents and vermin, and that's the reason why when scheming I do dirt like a hermit. Puppet master, Geppetto level, make you pussies my Carmen. About $1, call me Creflo, you just witnessed my sermon. I burn in hell. I keep my family first, everybody else think I die tonight. And you be stupid if you're trying to fight, get blown the fuck up with some dynamite. I keep my family first, everybody else think I die tonight. Everybody doing dirt in the darkness, not knowing it's gonna find a light. Keep my family first, everybody else think I die tonight. I find they light, pushing my buttons without trying to type. I keep my family first, everybody else think I die tonight. Die tonight, die tonight, everybody else think I die. Everybody else think I die, everybody else think I die. Everybody else think I die, everybody else think I die. Everybody else think I die, everybody else think I die. Everybody else think I die, everybody else think I die.
All right, that was the Abnorm with Family First. All right, man. Well, I think we're about to get another Ebony Tusk member in here with me. I really appreciate you coming in, man.
It's been great.
Any shout-outs you want to give?
I mean, honestly, there'll be numerous shout-outs. Like, this whole show for us is sort of an opportunity to shout out people who we like in the community. So I think I'll just leave it there and hope that Geese and Marty, with their song choices and everything they talk about, they'll get some more mentions and shout-outs.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again, man. I appreciate it.
It's great.
Listen, I had a dream I saw the tenements deserted, penniless, discouraged, American streets burning. Tell me what to fear when the death of we is certain. Eat, drink, merriment, the peril of an urchin. Power in the blood.
All right, so now we have member 2 in here with me, Nathan or Gisachi.
Yeah.
Which one would you prefer me calling you for this?
Actually, Geese.
Geese?
Is typically what I go by.
Okay.
On like a day-to-day at work, Geese is what I go by.
Okay, I gotcha. So how you been, man? What's new?
I've been doing really well.
Yeah?
Yeah, staying busy. I live in Kansas City.
Okay.
And we represent 3 different cities in this band, and I am the Kansas City resident. And yeah, I've just been staying busy. I've been, we're always working on new stuff for Ebony Tusks.
Yeah.
And as Gisachi, I've been working on my own stuff, which has been really fun. And just like playing a lot of video games and like eating burritos and chilling out.
You're living the life.
I'm living the dream.
You're making beats, eating burritos, and playing video games?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I need to hang out with you.
I'm
more.
essentially 14 years old. But it's great. I have a great time.
So yeah, you write beats for Ebony Tusks, and you also write beats for other artists. Have you been working with any other artists recently?
Absolutely. A couple artists, and actually I won't spoil them because some of them I've featured today, some friends who I've worked with in the past. But a good friend who I will talk about is Kwame, KD Kuro.
Oh, that guy's awesome.
I like Kwame a lot. Kwame's a great friend of mine. I've known him since like middle school, since I was like 13 or so. And yeah, we have a great time together. I've known him for a long time, and he's kind of started rapping in the past few years, and I've been happy to provide beats and like just kind of I've been performing on stage for a little bit, and I love to perform on stage with him as well. And yeah, it's a fun project to work with Kwame, with KD Kuro.
KD Kuro.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me what drew you into the world of hip hop?
That's a really good question. I always use "Rollout" by Ludacris as the first song that I just remember, the first hip hop song that I remember just being obsessed with.
Yeah.
And I think I grew up in a pretty conservative Christian household in the suburbs in Kansas, and hip hop was not something that was typically listened to in my household, and my parents were not a fan of it. That's probably why I got into it, to be honest. Like
the rebellious.
Yeah, I remember they got me I got a Walkman one year.
Oh.
With a CD Walkman, a Discman, I guess.
Okay.
With one of those, now that's what I call music CDs, and I think it was Now 8 or 9, but it had Rollout by Ludacris,
Yeah.
the radio edit.
The radio edit, of course. Of course, it's family-friendly CD.
Of course. But even still, my parents like caught me listening to that and were like, oh man, you shouldn't be listening to this. I was like, well, it's on the CD that you got me. You know, somehow this is right, so I should be able to listen to it.
Yeah, they just didn't like identify. Was it just like the image of hip-hop at that time that your parents didn't identify with? Or?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's just something like culturally that my parents were never really a part of.
Okay.
Or terribly interested in.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I was just drawn to it. Probably more of a rebellious thing than anything when I was younger. But as I listened to more and more of it, and I like other genres of music a lot, but I would say that hip-hop is probably my favorite genre of music.
Absolutely, yeah.
To listen to. And just through listening to it and consuming more and more of it over the years, and then getting to be a part of Ebony Tusks, it's just been a huge part of my life. It's been really fun.
How'd you get involved with the hip-hop scene?
Yeah.
The local hip-hop scene?
I used to be primarily when I was performing on stage or around music scene, I was a lighting designer.
Okay.
I got started with a band in Kansas City called Thieves a few years ago. It was like 6 or 7 years ago. And I was their lighting designer. And that was what I did with the band. That was my job. After doing that with them for a couple of years, that band broke up. And I was now had this lighting equipment that the band had purchased and then very graciously gifted me, which was awesome. And I was like, man, I want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
I kind of just had fallen into it before. I was like, this is really fun. And coincidentally, I got a phone call from Marty, and he called me and says, hey, we're doing this show in Lawrence. I'd love for you to do lights if that's still a thing that you do. I can pay you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe I should dust those off.
Yeah.
It had been 6 or 8 months since I'd done anything with them. I didn't know what to do. And so I came out and did a show with Marty. At that first show, it was Jockin' My Fresh 2 at the Replay here in Lawrence. And at that show, I met a whole bunch of people who I'm still friends with and still make music with, run lights with, go to their concerts. The Bear Club guys were at that show. They were DJing that night and performing. And I got linked up with them and have done a lot of events with Bear Club. Great friends of mine. Really like those guys. And Strider, who's a friend of mine, who's now goes by Strider Coon, and he's an amazing producer in Kansas City now. And then Marty, and I just really fell in love with Ebony Tusks. And I thought, man, this is such a cool project. And so I just wanted to do lights as much as I could.
Yeah.
And then eventually kind of wormed my way into the band.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So let's listen to a track. What do you got for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So this first track, since we kind of mentioned my friend Kwame, and I didn't want to put one of my songs that I produced because I felt that might be too egotistical. That's something I'm working on. Anyway,
I actually played the song that you produced with him on the episode I did with Barrelmaker.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, this song is called HFIL, and it has a really important meaning to Kwame, and I'm going to try and capture the meaning and how much Kwame loves it. And it has to do with Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
And I should know more about Dragon Ball Z, but I don't. But there's a scene, there's a part of the story is there are people who die and they go to the afterlife and they go to hell, and their sweatshirts just say hell. But when they edited that show for American audiences, for kids, they didn't want it to say hell.
Right.
So they edited just frame by frame, they took it down to say HFIL, which stood for Home for Infinite Losers, which is the name of the song. And it was produced by Dan.
Oh, cool.
Dan Smith, who you just spoke with.
Yeah.
Of Ebony Tusks. Great guy, wonderful guy. Dan, class act. I've heard this beat for a while, and Kwame got to it and just ripped it apart. I got to do some guest vocals on it, which was fun, just a little backup stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is HFIL by KD Kuro.
Here we go.
Where you losers at? Where you gonna stay? Where you losers at? Where you gonna stay? Where you losers at? Where you gonna stay? Where you losers at? Where you gonna? Throwing bows and then those who go toe to toe with a nigga like me. Mighty power flowing from a nigga like me. Your best behavior I demand, nigga, you see, yo. When I touch the mic device, I summon all types of mic delights. The type of shit that guides your life. Fucking alright. Realize my shit is tight, make you wanna fight. Rockin' y'all night, losers looking like they caught the fight. loser. Losers waiting for the fall, fucking yeah, right. Stuck in loser ways, fucking loser days, fucking loser stay in the loser maze. Nigga lacking, got a weak attack, man. Where your losers at, where you gonna stay? Realize you in a home, in a loser way. Where your losers at, where you gonna stay? Y'all can't fuck with me, I never fucking play. Where your losers at, where you gonna stay? Where your losers at, where you gonna...
All right, that was HFIL, produced by Dan Smith by KD Kuro.
Yeah.
That is a dope track, and I will take that little tidbit of knowledge you tell me about the name.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So tell me about tell me a little bit about the Kansas City hip hop scene as what you've experienced as compared to Lawrence and then Topeka, since you guys come from the 3 different areas.
That's a really good question. I'll be honest, the Kansas City music scene is not something I am as actively involved in. A lot of my friends, like for example Kwame and other rappers that I work with, are typically performing more often in Lawrence. And that just, I think, comes from just the relationships that we have. Dan and Marty and I, we always say that we're a band from Lawrence, Kansas, because while I have never lived here, Dan and Marty lived here when we all kind of came together. And we consider this like our home base. Like we were just saying that at the Granada today. Like this is like home court advantage. Like we know the crowd, we know the venues, we know a lot of the people here. And so for us, I don't know if we get a true sense of the scene other than for us it's a very close-knit community. It's a very small group of people. Not extremely small, but a smaller group of people who we all know each other. We all support one another. We go to one another's shows. We play on one another's shows. We produce tracks for one another. We perform on one another's tracks together and have a really good time.
Yeah.
In Kansas City, as a little bit more disconnected personally, I feel like it's larger, just being in a larger city. And I think that in Kansas City, there's a lot more visibility from a larger variety of acts. Where I think in Lawrence you get, I don't even know if I can name a specific subgenre, but maybe you get more of one flavor of hip hop in Lawrence or in Topeka, where in Kansas City you get a little bit of everything and there's more visibility to it. For example, you can see like strange music, obviously huge, visible, very visible in Kansas City, and the people who support and like that style of music and make that style of music, they have their own subset group of people. And they have their venues that they can go play at. And then you have people who are really into like 90s East Coast, like bars and that style of rap, what I call the classic East Coast hip hop. And there are people who make that style of music in Kansas City, and they have a subset group that they have their shows and you can see them happening. And it kind of crosses a little bit more boundaries, maybe not necessarily than in Lawrence, but more visibly, just because of the size of the city. And there's more venues and places to do those things.
You think that this being a younger town, too, that the collaboration is a little more open than in the city? Think that has any effect on it?
I don't think I could have said that any better. I would totally agree with that. I would say that the nature of Lawrence and being just generally, a younger city, younger scene, especially with literally thousands of people moving in and out all the time, rapidly, that there's a lot more progression, I think, and unique things happening in Lawrence. Like, it's really cool to see the types of music that come out of Lawrence, especially like our Bear Club guys that I was mentioning earlier. I don't think that type of music you would see come out of Kansas City. I think if they were in Kansas City, it would be totally different.
It might even get lost.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, let's hear another track. What was the second one you brought for us to check out?
The second track I brought is from our friends, also Lawrencians and Topekans.
Lawrencians? That sounds legit.
I don't know if that's the right
well, it will be for this episode.
Okay, cool.
Thank
you. From Lawrence and Topeka, Alex Calhoun, Al Kyle, and Twan, and they have their song Holupyah, which is so freaking cool. I love this song. It's just really, really fun. It's really upbeat. It's really unique. This to me is a song that this is distinctly Lawrence, Topeka. Like this type of song would come out of Lawrence and Topeka in the hip hop scene, or I don't even know if I would totally. I mean, it certainly would qualify as hip hop, but it's just very unique. It's its own thing, and I think that there's more room for that stuff to kind of breathe here in Lawrence or Topeka. Where in Kansas City, it might get drowned out, like you said, or get lost.
Right.
Hold up, yeah. It's all one word.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Hold up, yeah. 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 Hold up. way. We ain't got no deal, yeah, she on the fucking floor. Acting like a fool, wait, I ain't no fucking two. Bitch, what you mean? You just tryna get that work. I'ma tell you, hold up, you can't get this fucking work. No, hold up, yeah, 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 hold up, yeah. Got that white, got that pink, got that white, got that pink, hold up, yeah, hold up, yeah, hold up, yeah. Shawty mean, shawty green, yeah, she sippin' water, lean, hold up, yeah, 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 hold up, yeah.
All right, that was Twan with Holupyah. Dude, appreciate you bringing these tracks in. These tracks were dope.
Absolutely. Shout out to the Vivid Zebra crew, which Twan and Alcal are part of. Excellent dudes, excellent group of people. Been very supportive of us all individually and as Ebony Tusks, and we really like those guys. So I've actually collaborated with both Alex and Twan on tracks before as well. So,
oh, dope.
Yeah,
dope.
They're friends and family. They're the homies.
You want to give me any other shout outs before we bring the third guy in?
Yeah, shout out to Barrel Maker. I know that Dan brought a Black Flannel track. Shout out to Conductor Williams, and those guys are great. I'm very inspired by them and what they do. They've said a lot of kind things to me over the years and been very helpful just in my career as a producer and to Ebony Tusks as we've continued to play shows together. Man, shout out to my homie Nico. And, of course, the Intelligent Sound community, Peter Anthony, Intelligent Sound, and everybody associated with them have been unbelievably important to me, especially as I've been working as a solo producer. Like
Nico is in Dominico?
Dominico, yes.
Ah, he's coming in.
Oh, okay.
He's going to be on a future episode.
Okay, good. Nico's the homie. I really like Nico. His music is incredible. I've done some shows with him. He's just one of the most genuine guys you'll ever meet. Yeah, shout out to Nico, for sure.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming in and talking with me.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah,
it's been good to be here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Cool.
Ain't no grinning when the money's gone. Let me show you what it is, though. From the top to the gutter, on the couch in the cupboard. I woke up, the desk was covered in saliva.
All right, so I am here with the last member of Ebony Tusk, 3 of 3, Marty. How you doing, man?
Doing really well. How are you, Alex?
I am doing well.
Great.
I am doing well. I appreciate all 3 of you guys coming in and hanging out with me today, and really appreciate you guys bringing in music, man.
Oh, of course, yeah. Thank you very much for inviting us and kind of working around our schedule here.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, we don't find much time that we're able to get together and hang out, let alone do interviews and podcasts and kind of get to share a little bit more of our process and the other music that we like. So we're really grateful for it.
So tell me about how you got into hip hop, because when I was introduced to you, it was in Cowboy Indian Bear.
Yes.
And I was shocked when I heard your EP, and I was like, wow, this is a dope track. Marty can rap.
Awesome.
So I know it goes deeper than that, obviously. So educate me, man.
I would say that it started pretty early. I mean, I've always been fond of lots of different types of music, and I had a brother in the late 80s to early 90s, like when he was an adolescent into his adulthood, who rapped and was a part of a few different rap groups. And at one point he joined the Navy and was stationed in Florida and had a Christian hip-hop group called Golden Street Gangsters. And that would have been back in 1993, 1994. And I remember he came home for the holidays in 94, and I wrote my first rap on Christmas Eve, I believe, just sort of inspired by this VHS that he had of a performance that he had done at a church down in Jacksonville. So up until that point, hip-hop was definitely a big part of my life. We lived overseas in Germany at one point, and I just remember that same brother of mine having posters of different hip-hop artists on his wall, like Run DMC and LL Cool J and guys like that were really prominent in the late 80s to early 90s. Kool Moe Dee sticks out in my memory. I've always been a big fan of the Fat Boys. Just stuff like that. Curtis Blow, Houdini. My dad had compilation hip-hop tapes that I listened to a lot when I was a young person, when I was in high school in the late 90s. So that's really what I was on at that point in time, was like some really like early to mid 80s hip hop is what I was really into. So
what kind of drew you in even further? Just being a fan, but then actually taking that next step and developing your talent for hip hop and performing it and writing for it.
Yeah, I guess initially, like, you know, I was convicted maybe by my like religious upbringing to, you know, share my gift in music for that purpose. Maybe that's initially what it was. I think I just liked rap because I liked the opportunity that I could have to express things that were on my heart. I felt like I could be vulnerable. It felt like it was a good platform to be vulnerable and try to point at the truth or try to explore things that you were confused about in a format that other people could appreciate. I would definitely say that for the longest time, a lot of my favorite rappers weren't necessarily the most technically proficient, but maybe like just the most convicted in their raps. Exhibit's Paparazzi was a big song for me back in 96, 97, I want to say. That was on his first album, At the Speed of Life. And a lot of that stuff out of like the Liquid Crew, Alcoholics. I was listening to like East Coast artists like Beatnuts, Busta Rhymes is really big. And especially being in Topeka, like Southern rap is huge. So like Outkast was really prominent, like among me and my friends listening, as well as Goody Mob. Their second album, Still Standing, was a real standout to me as well. And then just, you know, quite honestly, I mean, even just like a lot of top 40 stuff. I mean, like we were all watching MTV Jams, BET's Rap City. Jay-Z for the longest time was my absolute, like, hands down favorite rap writer because of like the double and triple speak that was present in like some of his more simple lines. I feel like he gets, in some ways, he's been underrated because of how simply he delivers some of those lines on the Blueprint and the Black Album. But I don't know. There's just a lot of different artists, tons more artists that like really drew me into the genre, both mainstream and underground. But those are all guys that stand out to me in particular.
Right on. So here's what I have this question for you. And so you're very active on social media, and you're very well spoken. You're very well spoken, and it's very conscious, and you come from a very true place. And so there's a discussion that I was monitoring about a festival here in Lawrence, and someone got on the boards and they said, is this festival ran by all old white guys?
Yes.
Why is there not more hip hop in here?
Yes.
And so I want to talk to you about why you think that is, because you took from what I interpreted, you took the approach that I would have taken, is that it's not that we're not putting this particular genre on because it's this genre. Mm-hmm. It's because we don't know who you are. You're not actively promoting yourself. You're not getting out there and playing shows and doing your part as an artist to get noticed. Mm-hmm. And so I'm completely on board with that, but I want to hear a little more detail from you about your thoughts.
Absolutely. The festival that you're referring to is a Field Day Festival, and they just celebrated their 5th year of curating a mostly local punk, rock, hip-hop festival here in downtown Lawrence at various venues. And for me, it goes deeper than I probably feel comfortable explaining in this context, because I know all of the people involved on all sides. And I think that's why I really felt compelled to speak up on behalf of the festival and on behalf of the people of color, on behalf of the women, on behalf of the people that were already present at the festival, because I think it's... with Lawrence being a college town and being, you know, historically such a great hub for music and culture and experience, I think it's very easy to sit on the outside of any social situation in this city and feel very much like an outsider, even if you live in the city or even if you book shows or curate your own events or perform yourself. I think sometimes it's really easy to feel isolated and to feel in a vacuum. I certainly have in the past. I mean, that was my experience for a very long time. But I think that the tide really turned for me once I began to make myself a little more socially vulnerable and take the first step in getting to know people that I knew were booking shows, playing shows, going on tour, getting in the studio, getting things done. It was something that I felt like, well, if I'm driven to do this and I'm interested in doing it, then it would behoove me to participate, solely as a fan and try to find a way to develop relationships. A lot of people interpret that as networking, brown nosing, ass kissing. but I've never found another more effective way to sculpt community out of a music experience other than like going and getting to know the people that make it. And that has been my experience with the folks at Field Day Festival. Ebony Tusks has played it in the past. Cowboy and Bear played it one year. In fact, it was like our last show as a band. We played Field Day Festival back in 2014. And it was a great time. And I very much appreciate Cameron Hawk and Travis and all the guys who help curate it and put it together, because I know that they do it out of their pocket. They do it with a little bit of free time that they have. Like, these are all people that make music themselves. These are all people who I've had conversations with and who I know that their taste is so much broader than the music that they play. I also know that they, not to necessarily speak for them, but just speaking back to conversations I know I've had with Hawk personally, where he has also felt the way I felt, where he's felt like even on the outside of Lawrence music culture, things that he's wanted to participate in and not been able to, which is why he put together Field Day Fest, and which is why year after year he's tried to broaden that as much as possible to make it as inclusive as possible. And so I think, with the people that were rebutting that, on the flip side, I was defended because, again, I know those people as well. And I feel like this is a conversation that has come up a number of times in various contexts over the years. And I've always said the exact same thing, which is if it's your goal to be a part of this larger thing that's happening, then it's important that you go out, you participate, you be a fan, and even if you're not a fan of somebody's band or a certain type of music, if this is the culture in front of you and you would like to connect what you're doing culturally with it, then you might have to take the first step. You might have to take the second one and the third one and the fourth one and the fifth one and the 10th one. And you might have to keep going until you just find a way to connect, and I don't know. I just feel like for me and for us as a band, as Ebony Tusks, we've definitely made it our goal to be good stewards of culture and a friendship more than even just musicians. We want the people that we work with in the venues that we work at, the people on staff, other bands, anybody that we encounter, we want them to know like how much we appreciate the fact that we're being given that opportunity, that we're able to be present and accounted for. And a little gratitude really does go a long way. And, the opposite of it doesn't.
You're absolutely right. A little bit of gratitude absolutely goes a hell of a long way, and it shows professionalism, and that's the kind of people that, booking agents or even people that book shows want to work with. Right. Labels. And it gets back to your point of networking, right? I wouldn't call that brown nosing. Some people might. You're absolutely right.
A lot of people do, yeah. And that's what's frustrating is that it's really easy to be prideful when you're talking about being vulnerable about what you're expressing, making something that's really in your heart to express. It's hard to do that sometimes. And so a lot of people's inclination is if they're putting their emotional selves in the music that they make, that the person that you're meeting is maybe a little more detached, a little more reserved, a little less eager to want to connect with you outside of the music. And I totally get that. Like, everybody's personality is different. Not every musician is set up to be a social butterfly and to connect in those ways. But I think there has to be, you'll always just remain at an impasse if you think that something's owed to you, or that, because you've done a certain thing a certain way, that there's no more work remaining to do. It definitely is about the relationships that you forge, and you can forge healthy relationships in music and in music communities and in the music industry. I do want to say, just speaking back to the original point of the lack of presence of race at a festival like Field Day Festival, I just want to clarify that I do not think that was an unfounded point to bring up just when you talk about independent music culture. Like, I don't think that anyone was completely wrong in bringing it up, but I just found it to be self-serving, and that's what I was disappointed about, because that would be a really valid, wonderful conversation to have with a lot of different parties if there was a willingness to actually have that conversation. But that's not what it was about, and that's why I did what I did, because I thought that was disingenuous.
I mean, the music industry, any industry, just life in general is all about networking.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you want to make yourself better, you hang out with people that you, to the level you want to get to.
Yeah.
You know? And then that inspires you to create even more, and that inspires you to be better, and you'll pick up things along the way. And that's
Right.
what to me, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And like I said, I just really believe that you can forge healthy relationships even in that context. You know, obviously, like, people who make music have goals around the music that they make and that they release. And of course, there's going to be people that come in and out of your life that help you achieve those goals. Does that mean that the relationships that you forge with those people in achieving those goals was invalid? I mean, that's really up to you. I mean, it depends on how you treat them after the goal's completed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's for me the center of what Ebony Tusks is about, is that regardless of who we encounter, that we, you know, present ourselves, you know, as forthright and as earnest and as, you know, engaged as possible, that we're very appreciative for every opportunity that comes our way, and that, you know, we'll go above and beyond to accommodate it, you know, as long as, you know, people give us a chance and present us with those opportunities. I don't know. And then, you know, and we're still even just trying to find different ways to give back in ways that feel sincere as well. And sometimes even that is hard to talk about, because I think as soon as you say, like, well, you know, here's this thing I did, or here's this thing that I did that was good for other people, it's very easy for people to misconstrue that or, you know, take you out of context.
Right.
For, like, what, you know, so why do you have to share it? Why do you have to tell all these people about it? Those are things we're less worried about, but I mean, just suffice it to say that these are things that are on our heart and a part of, you know, who we are as a band, and we'll definitely keep pursuing opportunities to open doors for other people and to give back to our communities as well. So that's super important. That should be important to everybody.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely everybody. Cool, man. Well, you want to hear a track?
Yeah, sure.
I know that you brought in two as well. What you got for us?
Okay, so the first one is going to be Dreams by G Watts. It's off of his 2014 mixtape 1990 Never. This is a song that was produced by Architect, fantastic producer, formerly Topeka based. I think he's living in Miami now. Really humble guy, really fantastic producer. And G Watts is probably grown to be one of my favorite lyricists, one of my favorite rap writers, because he is someone who, you know, renders so much emotion out of, you know, the harsh realities of growing up in Kansas City. And I don't know, he's just a fantastic storyteller, very emotional. Both of the songs I brought in, you know, mirror each other in that way, but G Watts is definitely, like, just one of my favorites in that regard. So
right on. Let's check it out, man. This is G Watts with Dreams.
When the whole city deem you the truest to start the movement, out-of-state DA on the other end playing Judas, planting seeds of hope in the youth's roots for their using as I build system trying to destroy before I do it. In the battlefield, put down my rifle to kill, picked up a Bible for rivals and using faith as my shield. Amount of mustard seed, move Everest, credit El Shaddai, most high, no debt in my session. Feel like I might have let the town down. Soon as I'm released, put a lease on whoever crown. Belly of the beast where I speak the deep and profound. Prophets speak when we meet on most obsoletest of grounds. Casting out demons, pitching hits from the mounds. Moving silence, only snitches like talking loud. We was on the brink of robbing brinks. No water touching the sink. Lights off, fighting roaches for eats. Every day talking to God. Why he ain't speak? Got high and comatose. Started fading my beliefs. Watching zeitgeist religion. Swearing that shit true. Just to find only source of Luciferian view. Depressing, scary, behoove. The very elect is food. Hit my face, cried out. Dear God, let me get through. My smallest cousin in cahoots. We buried him at 12. Suicidal thoughts. One-way flight in hell. Yell pop when them shell shots. See, Pharaohs get shell shocked. Slavery's when jail locked. First time offenders. Mail watch. Mistakes get you nailed out. Rehab for the failed top. They try and kill your government pretenders. Inhale, I inhale the smell. Rot, dead body. No Charlie, just different zombies in wet shops. 13 when them hollow tips took shot ride. His mama screamed the top of her lungs like my God. Horror scene, I was froze, stuck on my toes. As I witnessed his spirit rose, enter his bro, then he start the job. Revenge hunt, anybody offend, cuz your time getting slim, baby. Burke off for the sin, duck. Revenge hunt, anybody offend, cuz your time getting slim, baby. Burke off for the SIGs dump. Wigs lump, kids jump. Grown up mentality, childhood realities causing vital fatality. We play hide and go peek. The only thing we try and seek a quiet place to frequent Monique. Sheesh, I seen the wickedest that started out in innocent. Mind pure as the Moors, heart darker than Kimber skin. Riddling as I riddle win. Both sides, you a middleman. Compromise lies, end up in the pen. We try and get it every way. You land in the jam, peanut front and me bread just to stay. But hey, I still got these dreams, homie. Yeah, still got these dreams, homie.
All right, that was G Watts with Dreams. That's a dope track. I'm glad you brought that in.
Oh yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
Glad you brought that in.
Absolutely. No, that whole mixtape is chock full of just really emotionally palpable material. Just a lot of really incredible stories. G Watt's life, just like glimpses too. I think it's just when artists, talk about, street affairs, violence in the city, drugs, just the interactions in ghetto life, and it's really easy to mishandle all of that material and all of those messages, and I feel like G just does a really brilliant job of like embedding humanity in it, and that's what I'm always looking for out of like any rap artist that I'm listening to is like, where can you be found in the words that you're saying and the things that you're writing? Where is your heart at? What are you opening up to me? Like, where can I connect with you? Right. And I feel like G just he just gets better and better at that as time goes on. He's brilliant.
That's amazing. That's what we always look for in an amazing artist, is just that growth, that consistent growth.
Yeah.
So tell me, you started writing rhymes when you were young. Tell me how your content has changed, if at all, from going from that young state to adolescence to essentially a young adult, and then now having a child yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I think, my earliest raps, like I said, were sort of born out of my desire to use my gift for God, out of my religious conviction. So that's a lot of what was motivating what I was rapping at the time. And I think as I got older, by the time I got to high school, I went to high school with Stick Figure, by the way.
Uncle Stick?
Yeah, exactly. He's Uncle Stick now. But he was definitely like, another blade for me to sharpen myself against. And we, especially in high school, we had very, very different styles of writing. And I just appreciated that about him more than anything, is that, we approached it very differently. Because people always talk about like all his different inspirations. I can only speak to mine. I think at the time, like one of my biggest inspirations as a writer and as a vocal stylist was a guy named Pigeon John, who was a member of LA Symphony and also a member of Brainwash Projects. A lot of really great LA based hip hop music, very left of center type of stuff. So if you're familiar with like Project Bloat or Freestyle Fellowship, the Good Life Cafe, like that's where a lot of those same guys were born out of. So that's what I was listening to a lot. Just really eccentric, funny vocal styles, like funny raps. And Pigeon John also had like a throwback kind of 80s flow, which I liked a lot. So I was really big into him in high school. And then I just put rap down for a long time. I want to say between like 2000 and maybe 2007. Not to say that I was over it, but I think I definitely felt like the personality that I was trying to inject into it wasn't really fitting into the culture at that time. So I just took a long break from it. I was playing folk music. I was playing in a couple of emo bands, playing in a couple of different rock bands over the years. And then, of course, in Cowboy Indian Bear from 2008 to 2014. But when we started Ebony Tusks in 2010, I think I just, in the years prior, like another group that really brought me back into it was the Cool Kids, because again, another group that had an appreciation for what I loved about like 80s throwback hip hop. Those were guys that like not only embraced it in their music, but also like in their look, like in the way that they presented themselves. And so I just felt like, here's a group that's fun, that makes me feel like I can be a part of what they're doing. So I was really big into them. And then, interesting enough, like early on in Ebony Tusks, we got to open up for them. So that was pretty fantastic, pretty interesting, really full circle. I feel like that's been the biggest thing over the last 4 or 5 years, especially, is that, we've touched a lot of different groups that like I had no idea we would ever get to play with, groups that I've looked up to for a long time, or just really appreciated their bravery and their art, and Cool Kids was definitely like a catapult for that. for sure.
So tell me about Lowercase Kansas, man. Tell me about that. I want to know about that because there's a lot of folks that's helped out quite a bit.
Absolutely. Lowercase Kansas was a collective that was founded by Daniel Smith, the DJ in Ebony Tusks, and our buddy Rob Schulte at formerly of the Bottleneck. He used to work at Pipeline Productions. Geese was a part of that early on as well. And a lot of the conversations we were having at the time were, how do we get a room full of local Lawrence and Kansas City, Topeka, Manhattan? How do we get all these different artists together in a room just to commune, break bread, have fun with one another in a low risk environment? And so we had been talking about that. So we started out doing showcases in the fall of 2013. And then Dan had always had an idea of why don't we have veteran MCs, like a less is more stick figure up on stage with these very new, I've never rapped before on stage type of artists. And then that's where the Bars Up concept was born out of. So we started that January 2014, and it got a really good response. We were doing that at the Bottleneck for maybe another 6 months. We did 3 more through June of 2014. And then it's got to a point where we needed to change that up a little bit. So we moved to the Granada early 2015, and they've been very generous to us in a venue that large. We've definitely had a lot more intimate events, maybe 100, 120, 130 people, but just 2 hours of MCs just rapping. And no matter who you are, what your background is, what your race is, sexual preference, we've had lots of different types of people come through, and no one really batted an eyelash at whoever was on the mic. Just a lot of really great support from a lot of really talented MCs, We haven't done one for a while. We did one at the top of the year in January, and my life got a lot busier. My fiance and I, we have a child of 17 months, and both Dan and Geese are pretty busy, and Rob just recently moved to New York City, and a lot of the other key players that are involved are also very busy with their personal lives. But I feel at least what we created out of those moments where we got all our 100-something friends together to just sit and rap is that, I'm still talking to these people regularly. I'm still in their lives, still finding out what they're doing aside from just rapping, and which is what I wanted to create. I wanted to feel a sense of community that I didn't feel, that I wasn't feeling, living in Lawrence and trying to, start a rap career. That was really the big goal, is that, we all felt, a connection to one another. And I think that a lot of those people have still maintained healthy connections with one another. A lot of collaborations were born out of Bars Up. And, I hope it continues to foster that. I hope that, we'll be able to resume it one day. But if not, that people will continue to, recall what it was and create community themselves. I mean, that was another big part of it too, is we would tell people all the time, it's wherever you live, whether that's Overland Park or, Manhattan or Topeka or Wichita, we want you to take this concept back to your community and do the exact same thing that we're doing. You don't have to credit us. It's not about us. We stole all our best ideas from other people too, but it's the idea of community that we wanted to impart among the people that participated. And I hope that's what it did. And I hope that's what it continues to do. So,
do you see a stronger sense of community in the hip hop community in Lawrence or in Topeka or in Kansas City, or is there really no difference?
Oh, I think there's big differences.
Okay. Talk to me about that.
I think maybe because I overheard what Geese was saying, I think that there is a lot more infrastructure and visibility with regard to hip-hop music and culture in Kansas City. I think that there's a precedent set for what that looks like with a powerhouse independent like Strange Music. And then also with groups like Indie Ground. Steady P has spent the better part of a decade shaping and sculpting hip-hop culture between Kansas City and Columbia, Missouri, and St. Louis and Chicago and in Lawrence. And I just really appreciate how he's taken concepts that have worked for himself as an artist and passed that on to his friends on the label, to J-Bomb and to Far Out, to DJ Moth, to Dom Chronicles, now to Scotty Wu. Yeah, Scotty Wu. And it's just even hearing Scotty Wu's new music, it's just man, this is so unique. This is something that nobody else in Kansas City is doing this way. And it's great that they're sort of carving out a space for not only themselves and that stable of artists, but also for the Kansas City community with events like Indie Fest, that Steady's done for years now, and with his shop, The Loop. And, and not just Steady P. I mean, there's a a lot of really great curators and a lot of really great promoters and a lot of cool stuff going on. The only thing that's really tough about Kansas City, that will always be tough about Kansas City, unfortunately, is that there's just no all ages venues.
Yep.
So there's so many artists, like, you know, who live in Midtown, so many kids who live in Midtown, so many kids who live in Overland Park, you know, who live in the South Kansas City suburbs that make tons of rap music, and there's hardly any infrastructure for them to have a platform and to be heard. The only person that I really see kind of going hard for like the youth culture in Kansas City is One Bounce. Not to say that he's the only one who wants to, but he's the only one that I see that is really going out of his way to like pull in some of those younger artists and some of those younger pockets of Kansas City hip hop culture together and putting it all in one room. And that's what he did with his mixtape that came out, I want to say 2014, 15, Thoughts Hinder Everyone. You know, it's just an excellent compilation of fantastic Kansas City MCs with all of his great production. And then even in Lawrence, of course, you know, like Datura approach has continued to just, you know, be resilient and produce some really wonderful music. Him and Milk Chopper in a group called Lincoln Marshall. Mm-hmm. And again, in the same way as Steady P, you know, he just continues to foster and create culture for younger artists, or even his, you know, other veterans alongside him to continue to have a platform and to be visible in this much smaller, more intimate Lawrence hip hop scene. Same thing in Topeka, you know, lots of really young, great artists, really hungry artists, a lot of great ideas, no infrastructure, hardly any venues to play at, no regular events at this time, but our buddies in Cult, Create Uplift is the website, createuplift.com. My buddy Marcy Gonzalez, along with Architect and a few other people, you know, gone great lengths to try to foster community out of the very little infrastructure that we have in Topeka. And you know, to all of those people that I mentioned, you know, I tip my hat, I raise my glass to. It's not exclusive to just them. There's so many people that are like really pushing for really great art and really great culture for hip hop in the area. And, you know, we're definitely very happy to be a part of it. And I just salute it all. I really do. Anybody who knows me like knows that.
Definitely appreciative of what you do and what Ebony Tusks does for the hip hop scene. And we're definitely trying to help out, man. You know,
absolutely. Yeah.
I definitely think that this is something that a lot of people need to be more exposed to. And so anything that we can do, man, we're here to help.
Hey, you know, and that's very much appreciated. I think for us, like, it's just been, especially Dan Geese and I, where we're at now was born out of conversations that we started having maybe in 2013, where I feel like we finally really embarked on the type of live show that we want to have and the type of that so much about where we're at now as a band has been a deliberate effort to reshape our narrative. So whether that's me just doubling down on communicating how appreciative we are, or, you know, us all getting together working on beats for the first time, and finally getting in the studio this January. All of this has been about sort of redirecting, you know, whatever context we had previously and giving ourselves the lives that we want for this band to have. And I'm just so grateful because so many people have come forward, have made themselves available, given us a platform, you know, whether it's on a podcast or on public radio, in a newspaper, in a magazine, on a stage. So many people have just opened doors for us to be seen and heard. And I can't thank those people enough, just because that's how we're able to still keep going, you know, like, because like I said, you know, we all live in different cities, we all have very different lives, and but we respect each other enough to try to put our best foot forward for this band. And I'm just so grateful that people recognize that and open those doors up for us, you know, because y'all are a part of the narrative as much as we are. So
what was the second song you got for us?
The second song is by a group called Dotzilla. Again, this is produced by Architect. This was a duo that he had started with a Kansas City rapper named Devin. They do music separately. Now, of course, this Dotzilla project that they put out was probably one of the best top to bottom albums that I've heard from, you know, a Kansas City hip hop project in a very long time. Devin, again, similar to G. Watts, but maybe in a more poetic way even, is able to convey and wrestle all this humanity out of, you know, these really difficult subjects, you know, about the human condition and the way that people live. And just even like some of his internal dialogue is what he's putting forth. And there's just some really grounded imagery, but there's also some very surreal imagery included in it. And just hearing this album and hearing this song in particular just like kicked me in the head. It's just again, just endless inspiration for the possibilities of like how good you can be, like tapping in to your potential as an MC and as a rap writer. And I can't thank Devin enough. I love Devin's music, man. I love dude. He's just a wonderful young man, and I'm just so grateful to know him and to be acquainted with his music. I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't want to put too much on it, but I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad I got to hear him, you know, before I went. So
very cool, man. Let's check it out.
Yep.
Blood. Fresh off the titty, searching for Nefertiti in hopes that I gain some insight. I think I'm following right. Them niggas follow pinstripe, I be swerving through the bitches. Alias Raymond Freeman, only nerd up in the trenches. What's the difference? If you witty, add jargons to your interest and pop up a line for poppy. Skyrocket your percentage. Deal me early morning with pops, so can shoot the shit. So I know what you play to call when them niggas hit the aesthetic intramural. But lately feel galaxy interference. Teleport to Andromeda, see if any coherence or indifference between them and I is tenfold. You copy Hooray, Saki, sip coffee with Anunnaki. Shit, the Hubble couldn't spot me, for the bubble couldn't pop me. You subtle with your approach, but the execution sloppy. God, you not with me, then you can't sit beside me. 3 up when I breeze by, they calling me Dotzilla. She wanna live the American dream, and I'm constantly trying to tell her that it ain't what it seems. Look, this is America, not a miracle. It's all about the capital, not what it brings. Yeah, not what it brings. I said it's all about the capital, not what it brings. This is America, not a miracle. It's all about the capital, not what it brings. They only love you when you rap about commercial shit, like bitches and gold chains. Then look at you crazy when you speak on controversial shit, when it's really the same thing. Y'all don't hear me though. Poverty, danger, and disaster is a centerfold. Eyes glued to shit, brainwashed so your dinner cold. It's crazy, but I'm not a rapper nor a poet, just a nigga who paint verbal pictures about what a poet. Mind games and migraines, time makes with time change. Breaking out the box, can't live with a mind frame. Hit the dealership, break the dash down the highway. Live free as a slave and abide by what I say. Damn, use my passion as a life lesson. Imagine life if the sky lesson. Shorter journeys, no need for attorneys. Fuck that gavel, only God can adjourn me, nigga. She wanna live the American dream, and I'm constantly trying to tell her that it ain't what it seems. Look, this is America, not a miracle. It's all about the capital, not what it brings. Yeah, not what it brings. I said it's all about the capital, not what it brings. This is America, not a miracle. It's all about the capital, not what it brings. Rest in peace, Capital Steez. But when I lose faith on the grass of days, I put my life on a kite and pray it takes me away. Look, every dark night brightens by light of day. Yet we're still in need of another to find a way. Modern communication is nothing but disarray, each given limited space and characters to obey. I know a lot of things that I shouldn't know, and I've been a lot of places that I shouldn't go. Everybody act, but they all want the center row. It's hard to be alone when you viewed as a centerfold. Cut now to the next line, they placed me in a line, but I chose to be first. A nigga never had a single second to rehearse. Live fast, but I wanna ride slow in that hearse. A lifetime, the outlook to a lifeline. Think you can do the wrong thing at the right time. Keep your eyes wide, but don't talk through the pipeline. Messages bounce back out the lack, now you night blind. Thoughts of me inheriting millions. Everything I touch Brazilian, expensive, wonderful feelings. No need for beautiful views. It's root of evil to the ceiling. Blindsided my vision of informing oblivious children on these playgrounds round the way. Mothers hate them to play round, cause along them wood chip beds also lay the AK rounds of the tainted youth. Taught to kill, came to shoot. Any opposition in current position, refraining the truce. Given But don't mistake that A bars for prison. I'm far from a juvenile adolescent, though I have written for where I came from. Where's all the change that I made? And Marty McFly's skinny jeans for the exchange of a DeLorean trip. I got like 4 different fits, and she's from where I'm going, so no important, you bitch. Dog, throw me a bone, what's more important than this? A deeper look into the purpose God appointed you with. Truth. Now journey with me through this alley. No nigga, I'm not perverted, just wanted you to take tally. Let's go back to 93. Minus you, minus me. The main focus is hocus pocus, contrary to your belief. And now with guns to my tongue, I need my family and these sweets. So until they offshore, what I know may seem meat. As the chosen few get the earth filled with democracies over anarchy type turfs. Please think like Geppetto when in these ghettos. You tampering with the strings, leave you stuck the mold like Jello. Luckily I'm observant, greeting tribulations with hello characteristics, switching with animals, practicing bellows where you find Lucy's fur. Along with Lucifer, carrying out his daily deeds, something similar to the first, every 30 to 31st. Shit, whatever you prefer. You double think in your life, well that's good cause I concur. Prayer hand tribute to the ones who bid you a well wish. Fishing for negative, get a stale kiss. 2-step with Lucy, splice Lucy with a shellfish. Side to side wavy, ring deeper than the well get. Beware false prophets preaching all in your wallet. I don't knock the hustle, but damn, deliver knowledge. Shit, I hit the streets, then skip college and looked away from the chop. Cause I'd rather be acknowledged. Walking on this water, just remember who taught you. Devil dealing for Prada, just remember it cost you. Incarcerated foster, media bred monsters. See bright white oars round big time mobsters. Generation of lost souls due to generated hatred and Satan with snot nosed. If mankind could see celestial potholes, then these sayings was saying and probably cause gold.
All right, that was Dotzilla with Americle. Well, man, Omari, I appreciate you and the other two guys in Ebony Tusks coming in and talking with me, because I know you guys did your sound check, came over here, and usually the free time before the show is kind of like the personal time where you just kind of decompress and get ready for it. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with me, man.
Absolutely. No, I'm glad it could work out, and thank you for coming down to Lawrence and meeting us and taking some time out of your evening as well. Just really grateful for the platform, for the Record Machine, for facilitating this and opening up the doors to the Record Machine audience to get more familiar with hip-hop in the area. That's a really important thing, and that was an important thing to me for a very long time, and I'm grateful to be here for this. So yeah.
Very cool, man. Would you want to give any shout-outs before we wrap this thing up?
You know, to the staff at Granada, especially for tonight, and to the folks over at Mammoth Live for booking the event. We're going to be opening up for Puya and his friends Germ, Shakewell, and Ramirez at the Granada tonight. And I just, I'm really forever grateful to the staff at Granada for always having Ebony Tusks back and always just treating us with a lot of respect and a lot of admiration, and just always having our back when it comes to these bigger events. You know, it's really easy to get lost in the shuffle as a local hip-hop artist on bigger hip-hop bills, but they always go to great lengths to make sure that we're well accommodated, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Yeah, and Pat Fielder over at Mammoth and Mike Logan at the Granada, just, endless thanks for always having our back.
Cool, man. Well, thanks again.
I knocked his crown off, blew off his waist cap, broke off his flat bill. I pushed him way back. I pushed him way back, way back, way back. I pushed him way back, way back, way back. I knocked his crown off, blew off his waist cap, broke off his flat bill. I pushed him way back. I pushed him way back, way back, way back. I pushed him way back, way back, way back. I knocked his crown off.
So this is what you call composure. Part of my comment, calm it down, soon it will all be over. How we've extended heaven's grace on every fallen soldier. In equal measure, know the beast expects proper closure. Check the proverbial figure, some cases a permanent fixture. And all its perversion and splendor, on the lips of gratuitous whispers. Where death is a pungent aroma, bending and blowing the corners. Shots at opponents and foreigners, pop off when the moment approaches. It seldom matters what you got to prove? Let the trigger finger point the path and you were not to choose. Who then is held responsible for what you taught to do? Squeeze them boys into a pub and now you got the juice. Hallucinogenics, fill up on booze and synthetics. Bear our cruelest intentions in a dark room with dependence. To what end have we gone and burned our blessed redemption? Whenever you hear the alarm, no, not to second guess it.
I knocked his crown off, blew off his waist cap, broke off his flat bill. I pushed them way back. I pushed them way back, way back, way back. I pushed them way back, way back, way back. I knocked his crown off, blew off his waist cap, broke off his flat bill. I pushed them way back. I pushed them way back, way back, way back. I pushed them way back, way back, way back.
Things go bad with a gun jam. Got a trench coat, show me what you got. Ain't no use for you trying to plot. Second care bear versus auto box. Got a hotel room, only one bed. Sleepy time tea, bro, lay on that cot. Got a hotel room, only one bed. Do what you do, girl, lay on that cot. Bow. Call me show, pound a donut, pound a nose. Sit on the couch while I recap on out. 50 retweets, man, I'm about to explode. I rap LOD from my heart, from my mouth. 100 retweets, no Molly, I roll. I sit on my couch and watch different strokes. The trillions of bodies, no lames allowed. Low brown, but right girl, don't smoke loud. She hate rap, but love me. She do anything, no cow. Cook bacon, go ham, straight kick it. Tongue loud, she make sense of that webcam. We all in, gangland.
I knocked his crown off, blew off his waist cap, broke off his flat bill. I pushed them way back. I pushed them way back, way back, way back. I pushed them way back, way back, way back. I knocked his crown off, blew off his waist cap, broke off his flat bill. I pushed them way back. I pushed them way back, way back, way back. I pushed them way back, way back, way back.
They ain't never had a shot, they gun jam. Click, clack, get back, nigga, boy, spit raps in your face, then hit back. Harder than 6'10" back, back. You beat yourself before the altercation. Went wolf the bitch, now that's an alteration. He talks and drinks, we hurling bows. Her man be Pee-wee, LODOPE. Ask and check your girl for no. She cuts lines in the bathroom. Her septum red like a baboon. Whoa, calm down now. That's too much club life. Hennessy, drugs, Bud Light. Them testing a dude with a 5-pedal uptight. Come next, that by let him blush like. Can it be me? Your name be Toby, boy. My name is Jalen. Wrong. Your name has a Roby, boy. So stand up, put your hands up. Every damn punk's got a plan, but when a hand crash lands, one at random, never nan duck. Ain't a better man, but I bet that's me your plans. Fucked unless a battle royale. Temperatures rise 100, boy, yeah, you fucked up. Got them pumped up. Folks rush to the floor, bad man, boy, out. Black gold. On that note, they stuck Joe. Struck hell royale. Texas heat. Mess with me, best expect to see. 3-3.
I knocked his crown off, blew off his waist cap, broke off his flat bill. I pushed them way back. I pushed them way back, way back, way back. I pushed them way back, way back, way back. I knocked his crown off, blew off his waist cap, broke off his flat bill. I pushed them way back. I pushed them way back,